Hello, hello, and welcome back, ladies and germs, to another edition of the Change My Mind podcast, part of the hashtag Dorkshare Gooniverse, along with Geeks Worldwide Radio and Midnight.fm. This podcast has 2 scoops of fruit, Nick, mark that down, and it's magically delicious. We are the podcast of champions who have been kid tested and mom approved.
Oh.
I don't know about that one, but anyway, I'm Wesley Sykes, and through the other side of the ether is the snap crackle to my pop, Mr. Nick Fryer. Nick, how the heck are you today?
I'm great. I actually found out too that we're also part of, technically through Geeks Worldwide, technically part of the iHeartRadio family too, because we're featured on there as well. So
is that right?
Yeah.
Oh God, I'm trying to retweet this right now, and it just popped up real quick. I got all flummoxed.
I've been there before too, and it happens to the best of us.
Can't
I'm glad
multitask.
No, it's very difficult to do. You're the one trying to read it. You'll do the intro and stuff too. So
yeah. So my intro question here is a little bit concerning, but yeah, I'm going to open this up real soft. Okay, real soft opening here. You go to a barber, a hairstylist of sorts, I assume, Nick.
Mm-hmm.
Do you have one that you go to, like, in particular, like a specific one? You kind of pop around.
I go to the same person all the time. I mean, I've for the past few years, I would say
the same person, so not even the same like barber shop, but the same barber.
Same person. Yeah, I used to mix it up when I was a kid because I used to get buzz cuts, but now that I have like adult hair, I want to have the consistent person.
So I want the haircut around my time. A very simple haircut, I have a very simple request. 3 on the sides, short and trim up the top a little bit where it's spiked up in the front. Bam. In and out, very easy, right? So I go to Pro Cuts, run of the mill, $17.95, $16.95, easy. You pay for what you get. I go on the weekend, Sunday, very fine. I got a freshly cut hair, as you might be able to see. The hairstylist is very pleasant. We have a lovely conversation about the weather. Then about dogs and some other things. She's very gracious while I'm wearing the mask and getting around the ears and all that. But, with these barbershops and these hairstylists and these sort of things now, this place, you can't use the apron. They have to get like disposable aprons that you wear now because they don't want to be reused on the next person, right? So it's fine. So, it's a little ghetto, it's they use trash bags. But okay. I'm a rather, a little long individual here, so it didn't come all the way down over my legs. So needless to say, there's a lot of hair getting around my legs. And at the end of this is where it gets a little dicey. So hang with me here, folks. So at the end of it, I'm getting the hair blown off of me, off my legs with the hair dryer. Again, the hair stylist is very nice. And she starts blowing it right around my crotch area, like 2 or 3, 4 times. And I'm kind of like antsy. I don't know what to do. Like, it's like right on my crotch. It didn't burn or it just felt awkward.
Okay.
It's just weird. And then I'm like explaining this to my wife afterwards. I'm like, did I just get Me Too'd? Like, is this what it feels like? I'm like, a completely unrelatable, unscalable, relation here. But like, she was in a position of power and I was reluctant to say anything because I didn't want to be rude, and I just accepted it and just let it happen, even though I felt like I was in an uncomfortable position.
I don't know if that would qualify as being Me Too, Wes.
I'm just saying, from one experience, I now have a different understanding of what it could be like to walk a mile in a woman's high heels.
Okay, well that's fair. Yes, now you have perspective because the hairdresser went and use the hair dryer on your nether regions. So
I tipped her fantastic. I gave her like a 35% tip afterwards. Like, what type of person am I? I just got assaulted and I paid for it. I said, you know what? No, the pay wasn't even enough. Here's some more money for you.
Did you feel? Was it because you felt guilty for what happened? Did you feel like you brought it on yourself somehow?
Well, as most people do, I showered after the haircut.
God.
It was a cold shower, and I was just kind of huddled in the corner with my arms wrapped around my knees.
Jesus. Yeah. Wes, what is the matter with you? God.
But anyway, forward. So Nick, you've had experience like that in a barbershop?
No, I can't say I've ever had that before. I can't say I've had that before, but I will say I've had situations where I've been hit on and I found it very uncomfortable. So I guess that's the closest thing I got for you.
It's a very small taste. I'm not equating it on any level. I'm just
no
saying.
shit. Really?
Yeah. I felt like I have to put that disclaimer.
This is why you go to the same barber or hairdresser all the time, because this shit doesn't happen.
No, they work for me. I want to go around my time, and you work around my schedule.
Right. So that's why you go to the same person. That's what I'm saying.
I go to the same. They fit me in when they're available. Like no. I go anywhere I want to based on the scenarios, the settings, the locations, the times.
I've never seen you have a bad haircut either in the past, 2 years? Like, as long as you've been doing the show, I've never seen you with a bad haircut before.
It's simple. It's a simple haircut.
I mean, I don't still, they could screw it up. It's happened before.
It has happened before. You know what hasn't happened before, Nick? Our inaugural Change My Mind March Madness bracket. Yes, that's what inaugural means, folks. And we're going to be unveiling that topic today. Maybe right now. Maybe right after I finish this sentence. It's going to be on the best cereals.
How do you like them apples? I wonder where that idea came from. Did it have anything to do with a certain member of the DSG getting apparently this thing called adult cereal? Did that inspire this at all, Wes?
No. I think cereal has been a great love of mine for some time, and it's a nostalgic love at this point because it's something I don't really have. And Nick, we've discussed this before. Is that it's something that's not really involved in our day-to-day diets. And I did a little bit of research over the weekend. Had a whole box of Captain Crunch with 2% milk. And my body wasn't exactly used to it at that point, but it was well worth it. And we'll get into all of that a little bit later.
What got more torn up, your innards or your gums?
No. Surprisingly, so what I've noticed, I don't know if this is a Mandela effect. Again, something else I think we'll talk about a little bit later. But I remember the Captain Crunch being much bigger and much sharper. These were soft. It was nice. It was still crunchy, the cereal never loses its crunch, but it did not cut up the roof of my mouth, and I missed that. I wanted that because that pain, I wanted that little bit of pain in my life.
So then
maybe after the haircut,
it was your insides that got a little more torn up than the gums.
My heart actually was a little broken up. More than
by the way, I just noticed the name that you decided to go with for this week's episode, Lactose Intolerant. Yes. That's a good one. It's a good one.
Not exactly name oriented, but I figure, I'm just lactose intolerant. That's 2021, baby's New Year's resolution.
It's got the W in there, so we're good. All right, where are we starting with trending now, Wes?
Yes, speaking of W's, WandaVision Season 1, Episode 8. Previously on... What'd you think? I mean, we got White Vision or Double Vision, however you want to call them. That was the big reveal at the stinger at the end of the episode, right? Mm-hmm. I mean, we kind of have Agatha giving her backstory, and she kind of goes to Christmas past everything.
Now, I listened to episode. So this is the 8th episode of WandaVision. So I listened to the 8th episode of I've Got WandaVision, the Goo podcast that you are now featured on prominently, and I believe you'll be there for the season finale. You should be. Did you guys talk about the fact that maybe this is Ultron slipping into Vision's body? Like that? Did you entertain that idea at all? Possibly because he's blue now.
No, I did not. I did not think about that at all, and that could be interesting. I know that's been a theory running around, the internets and 4chan and Reddit and all that stuff. Whether Hayward is Ultron or whether Vision is going to be Ultron again, that all seems like an interesting stuff. I'm not sure if it's going to go there. And I think to this point, I appreciate everyone who's listened so far to this point. I think the podcast has done very well. We've gotten every prediction wrong, and I don't know what is really going to happen at this point. So
the I've Got WandaVision podcast, not the Change My Mind podcast, to be clear. We get shit right over here. You're hanging out with Goo and he brainwashes you and shit. But I didn't know that was an internet thing going around. Lauren was actually, that was her idea that she told me at least about the Ultron stuff. So it makes sense to me. We didn't hear him talk. There's plenty of room to think that that we're dealing with Ultron right now in this. So I love that. But then the question is what happens with Vision that's been this like manifestation of from Wanda. But at the I think we could see this Vision still stick around and that other one becomes Ultron. And that's where like the issue kind of goes from here.
Where I'm kind of thinking things going, I think we all got okey doked by Paul Bettany on his media round saying that there's going to be some big cameo of this actor who he's always loved to work with. I think that he was just trolling everybody now, and this has kind of been going around the internet, so I'm not the only one who thinks this is either, but that he was referring to himself. And he was just kind of trying to pull the wool over everyone's eyes there.
Oh my God.
And he's, he seems kind of like a jokey, kind of tongue in cheek type of guy anyway. Those Brits usually are. So, I think that kind of seems like with it in his personality. So, what I think happens, I think they battle it out, Double Vision, and the vision that Wanda created ends up killing the alien version or the weapon version, and then ultimately Wanda has to just kill Vision and like kill him again, and just
Vision's done
with it.
Yeah, so no more Vision. So we go from triple vision to no vision, is what you're telling me.
Exactly. Project Cataracts, baby. We're just going blind. Or was that glaucoma at that point?
I don't know how those things work. I have an astigmatism. That's what I know. But
me too.
The thing that I'm still wondering is what's going to happen with Pietro or fake Pietro, whatever it is that they're calling him, because I'm bummed that they gave us the okie doke, but I'm still holding out hope that that's not entirely the case. Like more so like Agatha somehow didn't know and pulled him from another multiverse, because that's still in play, right? With the book. Like I think you guys were the ones that brought it up on I've Got WandaVision. That's the book they stole from the ancient one, possibly?
The Darkhold, yeah. So it could be, Goo and I are thinking that it could be from the Library of Kamar-Taj there, from Doctor Strange. There's ties to Cithron or Cthron or something. I don't know how to pronounce his name, but who's supposed to be some big elder god from the comics, which, might make sense. Like, again, I'm constantly thinking about the reworked Phase 4 timeline of this, where we've already would have had the Eternals, which could have explained this CMBR stuff that we get, and maybe this elder god that would have made sense. Like, I wonder, what we would have known had we'd seen the proper release date of MCU to this point through WandaVision. You know what I mean? Like,
it's really,
and what becomes a secret and what doesn't become a secret because they shifted things around.
CMBR, is that?
That's like the cosmic radiation or something like that.
I got it confused with something else. Sorry, I was thinking of another thing that's on the internet that I know Billy's into, but never mind. I apologize. I got confused there. Sorry, I got lost what you said because I got
BBWs. Is that what you're thinking?
I was thinking you're familiar with the acronym BDSM?
Oh yeah.
I just know it's like Billy's really into that, so I just it's popped into my head right away.
Billy D. His initials are in the acronym.
I figured that was why, but I don't know. I don't know. Anyways, sorry, I'm all rattled now. What else we got for trending now?
Yeah, so we have Lady Gaga's dog was stolen, and her dog walker was shot 4 times.
Okay.
So the dogs were returned. Dog walker okay.
Okay. Now I remember seeing the buzz about this like through the chat, and I did not go and look it up or anything like that. But who were you more concerned about in this situation? Because you're a dog person through and through.
I am a dog person, and that was my question with the framing of this story, at least with certain the headlines and everything that gets you to click it, because there was a $500,000 reward for the return of her dog, which I believe is how it was being framed, but not for the capture and arrest of the person who stole the dogs and, I don't know, shot a person in the chest 4 times. Hey, listen, I love dogs as much as the next guy. Don't get me, don't get me wrong. But Ray Fisher is or Ryan Fisher, not Ray Fisher. Excuse me. That's a different Fisher there. Ryan Fisher was the dog walker, and he actually detailed his accounts in a recent LA Times story. And this is very topical, I think, to a previous episode that we did not too long ago. And he said, quote, "While the car sped away and the blood poured from my gunshot wound, an angel trotted over and laid next to me." What does that sound like, Nick? That sounds like a near-death experience. Go back on Netflix, Surviving Death, if you're into that sort of thing. Very interesting stuff.
And if you're going to watch it, I recommend, usually we're spoiler-filled podcast for sure, that we don't spoil, like we don't ruin the show for you, but I would listen to that episode before watching that Netflix special, because there are some episodes that were a little disappointing.
Yeah, it was skip. Yeah, exactly.
There were 2 really good ones and probably a third one that was solid, but then the rest were kind of disappointing or just whatever. But that definitely sounds like a surviving death story for sure.
Yeah, I mean, again, like this person, whoever committed, apparently this was like very well executed and planned out and stuff. Like they on the same route at the same time, where there's no like not a whole lot of cameras and stuff like that. So this was like very well orchestrated. But I don't know how far away this person was from the dog walker to shoot someone in the chest 4 times and not kill him. Like, what kind of gun were you using? Like, what is this? What is this dog walker eating? Like, how many like steaks a week is this dog walker eating? Like, where their skin and muscles are just so strong they just spit out bullets? Like, you know?
Yeah, I don't know. It's I don't know how you survive 4 shots to the chest. It's you survived some near death experience, and there's an angel there, so that's how it happens, I guess. I don't know. That's pretty wild, but that like so that was on. I'm trying to find a way to transition into the next thing, Wes, and there's no way to segue into this.
It's a tough one. I'd be impressed if you could.
From one to the next, but we see random shit pop up on Twitter all the time, and I know today for some reason I saw over on like sports Twitter, people were talking about unpaid internships. I don't know why that was popping up out of nowhere. Do you know why it popped up?
Thing too. I'm not sure. I think it was Jane Slater I saw from. I think she's an NFL reporter, NFL network reporter. But she said she posted an internship in the on. It wasn't even for the NFL. She was just sharing it. And it was for an unpaid internship, and everyone got upset because you should be compensated for your work or whatever your soapbox reason is for this week.
Well, it was a random ass thing that started trending, and then over on comics Twitter, I know we saw our guy Up to Task, who we talked to a little while back.
Yeah, absolutely.
You can listen to that interview where we talk about his book Leaders of the Free World. He was talking about somehow it came up about Marvel being a pro-military like propaganda piece. And I was kind of surprised by that because well, aren't superheroes supposed to replace the military? Isn't that kind of whole thing? Doesn't Tony Stark's stance like helping the military and then kind of taking control of it and then not wanting to give them his Iron Man suit? I thought that, but this is just another random ass thing. Did you have an opinion on any of this?
No, I think this is interesting. And again, I'm a huge fan of Up to Task. You know me, I'm a big conspiracy theory guy, so I love reading into that. And I think the crossover of media and TV programming, even that word programming, kind of takes on a double meaning if you kind of incorporate propagandism and media and stuff like that. So, this stuff is definitely all up my alley and definitely interests me. So I love that it was brought up in a conversation form. And again, a lot of love for my guy Up to Task. I have to kind of go against this a little bit. I definitely think that there is huge military influence throughout the Marvel comics and throughout the MCU as well. I mean, even dating back to Stan Lee, right? The father, the godfather, the grandfather, right, of Marvel comics worked for the military and like worked as far as like creating comic books and novels and like was an author for the military. So he was part of kind of creating this propaganda towards World War II, which is exactly what Captain America is. I mean, I believe like they even used the comics so far as to like sell war bonds through Captain America.
Well, I mean, it's one thing to talk about the books back then. And that was a much different time and all that. But I'm talking about now with the MCU. I don't get that vibe that it's one thing to say that it's anti-military or pro-military like that. That's or just kind of in the middle. Like I would venture to say that it's more just not commenting on either of them. Do you think it's like pro-military propaganda now?
I think there's definitely instances of it. I would say rather generally across all of Hollywood that there's a reason why so many Hollywood writers and screenwriters and directors want to work with police, military, CIA, FBI agencies to kind of get the real details. And there's a reason why those agencies allow Hollywood to do that, because it's a great way for them to maybe frame things in a certain way that would look damning to them otherwise. But since you have this person here and like, you go and meet someone, like you're kind of excited. And especially, if you're not a journalist or coming to kind of expose anything, like if you're just like a Hollywood writer who wants to write a cool movie, like you want all the interesting stuff possible, right? So like you just kind of maybe take it on face value. So that's kind of what I would say, generally about that sort of thing. I would also say that there has to be a trade-off for filming on government properties, military air bases, military airspaces, all that sort of thing. So there has to be some sort of a trade-off there. And then there's like, you know, real life conspiracies that the government has admitted to with like redacted documents of MK Ultra, Operation Paperclip, which are, you know, heavy prominently featured throughout the Captain America series, specifically with the Winter Soldier and MK Ultra, and Operation Paperclip, which is you know, German Nazi scientists, you know, being absolved of their war crimes and being adopted as American scientists to help fund like NASA and that sort of thing.
Okay, there's a lot of shit in there that I was not aware of.
Documents, I read them. The Turn of the Frogs gang.
Yeah. There's a lot of shit in there that I was not aware of that they addressed. That was the Nazi stuff. I guess I did kind of understand all that, but not the super soldier stuff that you're kind of talking about there. Still, I don't know. I don't get like this vibe, like, hey, you know, go join the military and stuff like that. Like, it's not, I guess, but they wouldn't be so heavy-handed with that now, especially.
Yeah, no, I would say even like the notion of Tony Stark, whether it's the comics or today, like, yeah, he's redemptive and signs the, you know, Sokovia Accords and wrote the Sokovia Accords, whatever you want to say. I think there's a lot of things that shows him a redemptive story arc, but he is like funded heavily. Stark Industries is rooted on the backs of you know, war crimes and you know,
yeah, it definitely is. But then the argument to that is he realizes how wrong it is what was going on and how he was helping the wrong side, and then he learns later, like, you know, how there's, you know,
but then he ends up working with the government anyway.
He does, but then you also see Cap, who was a proud soldier and wanted to defend his country, and then he realizes that there's a lot of people who can't be trusted within the government and within the military because a lot of them turned out to be double agents. So I think that just like something like that, where you took something that started off so pro-military and then turned it, like, you flip it on its head, I guess.
Right, but I think those ideas there that, like, you know, a grand soldier like Captain America, or, you know, could be used as a pawn and not be told, you know, only be told 4/5 of a story, and that 1/5 is a huge piece of information, like we see in Captain America: Winter Soldier, where like Natasha has a whole separate side mission of getting like covert information, like, you know, all for ulterior reasons of what was not a part of the mission. So all, like, you know, these are just like ideas, like, you know, whether they float them out there and then shoot them down or redeem them in some fashion, like, you know, doesn't mean that it's not military propaganda. You know, it's just shaped in a more friendlier way, a more digestible way.
Huh. Okay. See, like I said, like, to bring it all back to where I was originally, I don't get the vibe that they're anti-military in this. Like, I could see how some people would think that, but I also don't think that they're like heavy pro-military. And I see your points of why someone could think that. I just feel like they portray it in like varying ways, and it matters case by case. So the idea that it's like, again, to bring it all back to that it's pro-military propaganda, to me, it's just, I think it's just a reach at the end of it all.
No, but there's an idea that, like, you know, if you're a big believer of conspiracy theories, that a lot of and ulterior motives and people having these like nefarious kind of backdoor type of workings, that they have to show these things in plain sight, and in a way to kind of do that and absolve themselves of these actions would be to show it in plain sight in certain ways, whether that be in music videos or television shows or movies or some sort of a way. So it's kind of like a wink, wink, nod. Okay, we kind of get it off our conscience sort of thing. And that's like, again, this is very, you know, way down the rabbit hole if you want to go down there. But
well, I mean, this is what people are talking about. This is what people are talking about on Twitter right now. I mean, it's been a long time since I got my helping of Stay Woke of the Week from Wes. So.
Yeah. So this was fun to kind of flex that muscle a little bit there. But it's again, it's fun to watch it, and then if you kind of become aware of it, it's fun to kind of point. You know, you kind of like pick out certain things, just like you would like any sort of Easter egg or something. Mm-hmm. So, you know, you still watch the movies for what it is. I still listen to music for what it is, even though that's propaganda in so many different forms. You know, right. So you know, you just ride the line.
Exactly, and you got to know, like, to think.
It doesn't make me not like. It doesn't make me hate the MCU, or doesn't mean it's like, oh, I wish they didn't politicize. It's just interesting.
Right, I agree. Now, one thing I don't particularly find interesting is the Golden Globes. I don't really care for award shows when it comes to entertainment, because like your job is to entertain us. But for when certain actors or titans in Hollywood or whatever pass away, it gives me a chance to honor them. And I think, you know, Chadwick Boseman, he got an award posthumously. I think it was for it was a best on-screen portrayal by a leading male actor, and
I couldn't tell. I know there was some movie that came out that he did that a lot of people were raving about. But to be honest, I didn't watch any of the Golden Globes. I don't think a lot of people did. I think I saw it was like 66. Viewership was down 66%.
I'm glad everybody's getting on board because generally I just don't care about this kind of stuff. Like, I'm glad that he gets recognized. He deserves to get recognized, like, as much as he can. You know, went before his time and everything. But other than that, I've never cared about these awards. I do not understand why they're a thing still to this day. But
I think Borat won best comedy. You know, I mean, aside from the year just being so down as it was, Borat winning best comedy and like not even nominating Dave, like not having Dave on there for like best comedic show or anything like that. Best comedic actor, like, you know, I'm not interested in it. And then like the whole notion of having like a glam squad come to your house to put on like a ballroom gown or a tuxedo and like get all dressed up and then take all these photos and then do like a Zoom acceptance speech from your living room, like also seems very stupid to me and like self-absorbed. You know, like I don't know, like, do we really care about you that much that I want to see what you're wearing in a Zoom conference, you know?
Yeah, I didn't even think. I totally forgot about that aspect of it all. No one gives a shit about that. What we do give a shit about, though, is we got a date for Loki, and it's going to flow. Is it going to flow right from Falcon and the Winter Soldier? No, it's not. There's going to be a gap in between on Disney Plus. But
so I think what they do is, I think Falcon and the Winter Soldier should lead into tentatively Black Widow, but how these MCU shows are being spread out, I think there's a 1 week in between where they kind of do like a look back making of, and that kind of gives you that 1 week breather between the next. I believe so. I think that's what they're doing with WandaVision and Falcon and the Winter Soldier.
Gotcha. Okay, but for Loki, we got June 11th, and then we also got the name for the new Spider-Man movie, No Way Home. So I either one of those you particularly excited about? I know it's tiny bits of information.
Yeah, I mean, I'm really excited for Loki. Again, I don't really know too much about it. We got the Time Cops there. We got Owen Wilson and Kang the Conqueror, so I'm excited about all those type of things there. So I'm just excited to see how that show kind of plays out, much like WandaVision. You know, Falcon and the Winter Soldier, I feel like we have a good kind of idea of what to expect, like Mission Impossible, but Loki, WandaVision, I think that type of unknown excitement is kind of what's like fueling the show for us. For
Spider-Man Far From Home, I'm not. I like Spider-Man, but I'm not a Spider-Man guy like you and some of the other guys in the DSG. Like he's not one of my even top 10 favorite Marvel characters in general, but I am excited for this next one because the way things got left off in Far From Home, shit should be pretty wild. That being said, I'm definitely more excited for Loki, knowing when we're going to get it. And it seems like as much as the movie stuff might get messed up, that necessarily isn't going to, because we're getting Falcon and the Winter Soldier now. So I feel comfortable like looking forward to that, knowing we're still going to get this. We're going to be fine. And based off what we've seen with WandaVision, where it's been outstanding. I mean, I don't. Falcon and the Winter Soldier could be not as good as WandaVision because there are expectations, and it doesn't allow you to be as creative with it necessarily. But with Loki, they should be able to get in a different way, but similarly, like just as weird as WandaVision got. There's no reason that they shouldn't, because you have an awesome character dealing with like a whole bunch of wacky shit that a lot of people aren't familiar with. So this show could. I wouldn't be stunned if like after Loki's done, we look back at it and say Loki's the best show, WandaVision is number 2, and then Falcon and the Winter Soldier.
Yeah, I mean, I think that has the potential to go back for it. Again, I think the rumors out there is that there's going to be multiple Lokis, multiple genders from multiple timelines, multiple versions of them. So, I don't think that the Tom Hiddleston 616 Loki is even necessarily going to be the main character. I think there's even been talks of like, whoever is kind of becomes like the main Loki from here will kind of carry on that kind of title, maybe like the Jane Foster Thor. Moving forward, like maybe that will happen in Thor: Love and Thunder. So I think there's a lot of possibilities there. Obviously, it's a lovable character, but Spider-Man: No Way Home. I think that's interesting. They kind of pulled the rug out from under us, gave us the okey doke a couple times there, a couple different release titles, and then you go on that marker board, and there's hexes everywhere. And again, you're looking for all these little Easter eggs in there about what it could be, and all the little jokes and stuff. And like, I think people even went as far as to say like the outline of the title Spider-Man No Way Home looked like the outline of the country Puerto Rico. and that Miles Morales is Hispanic, so that maybe Miles Morales was going to be introduced in there. And I'm like, that I am like all here for. I'm 100% here for it. If
that's fucking nuts. People have way too much freaking time on their hands.
I love it. I think it's great.
That's crazy. I don't even know how far did you have to go down the rabbit hole to find that one, Wes?
Not too far, actually. I was just like, I think that was on Twitter. That wasn't even like a YouTube deep dive or anything like that.
Okay, and that's a very strange one to me. But real quick, going back to Loki, I forget. So Contest of Champions, of course, was Future State was the other one that I was thinking of. So that's the other mobile game that came out. I don't know if it's still going, but it was a little bit different than Contest of Champions, and it was fun. I don't know the history of the reason I'm bringing this up is I don't know the history of like Loki and Thor quite as well as I do some of the other characters, but I saw in that game there was a female Loki, so that could be kind of who we end up seeing. You're bringing up the change in gender and all that stuff with characters or different universes where Loki is a female, so could easily end up walking to that. But I saw the one thing I do remember seeing going back to Far From Home was No Way Home was that they released 3 fake names, or was it 3 names total for the movie? Either way,
3 names. Yeah,
to signify we're getting three Spider-Man in this movie.
I hope so too. Again, that's another like a little bit of a stretch there, but again, like I'm here for it. So all that stuff, like just throw all of that spaghetti against the wall and see what sticks.
Less of a stretch, I think, than the Miles Morales intro. As much as you can bring him in if you're doing all this stuff, you can absolutely bring him in. Have him be from Tobey Maguire's universe. Why not?
No, he's already in the 616 universe with Childish Gambino, Prowler.
Yeah.
He was introduced in Homecoming.
That's true. But he's supposed to be a lot older than Peter Parker's supposed to be a lot older than Miles Morales too. I don't know. Either way, I'm here for it. If you want to have 4 Spider-Man in this movie, I'm gonna be fine with it. I like Miles Morales. He's got a badass look.
Bring everybody.
Yeah. Now, over to the comic book minute this week. So Future State is over. Doc and I will be talking about that on TLDR this week. So Infinite Frontier has begun. Issue 0, which I don't understand why they're labeling issue 0, but whatever. It's the launch of the new era in DC Comics. I know that Scott Snyder was in on that project. I know that issue is huge. So I highly recommend everybody take a look at it. There's a lot of other new stuff coming out this week. New Suicide Squad, Crime Syndicate is a 3-issue miniseries that starts this week. So a lot going on with DC. I know with Marvel, King in Black, the handbook is out this week. So that's their big event they've had going on that Doc and I have enjoyed. I don't quite know what the handbook entails. Doc Ride's gonna have to pick it up to let you guys know about it, but I would think that's gonna be pretty dense. The 2 big things, Wes, coming out of this week from the for the comic book minute are the start of Berserker. So there's no E's in the title, so it's BRZRKR. That is co-written by Keanu Reeves. So that started this week over at Boom Studios. Doc is reviewing that, and I know this. He fucking loved that book, and it sounds like it. I already thought it was going to be badass. He says it definitely lives up to the hype, so you guys are going to want to look out for that one. The other one is Noctera, which we talked to Scott Snyder about a little while back. That was before his conversation about death metal when he came on the show. The first issue of Noctera is out this week. That's from Image. I reviewed that, so you guys, whenever the audio of this drops, you will be able to find that somewhere on Geeks Worldwide. And another book that I think is worth picking up. 2 awesome number 1s dropping this week, and I think you guys will not be disappointed if you give it a shot. And for James Bond fans out there, I saw this out of nowhere. Dynamite has a James Bond series, James Bond, Agent of Spectre, issue 1, starting this week. So looking for something a little different. And a programming note, Wes, before we move on to the main topic, as you are well aware of, TLDR now has its own channel because we got so much going on between the 2 shows that it's time to have them be their own individual thing. So
getting a divorce, huh?
That's exactly what it is.
You're telling me?
Well,
my fault? It was my fault.
Yes. Well, I mean, is that how this thing's supposed to go? I'm supposed to tell you when it's actually your fault?
No, you lied to me.
Oh shit. Okay. No, it's not your fault at all. Truth? Hey, Doc's not here. It's all Doc's fault. Let's blame it on him.
That's what you do. When the other parent's not in the room, you blame the other parent. That's really what you do.
I'm actually watching. I've been watching The Affair with Lauren, and it gives me such fucking anxiety, that show. My God. But I can't stop watching it with her. And at one point, the guy who cheated on his wife, his kid says, "Oh, mom said you're a sociopath." What the fuck?
Yeah.
Is that what happens? And I mean, he's a whack job for sure. But anyways, so yeah. Oh, also new Fireside Chat dropping this week, so make sure you guys keep your peepers popped for that.
Yes. Also, before we get into our main topic here, I will have a couple of good, if you like your high anxiety thrillers and whatnot. I got a couple good options for you in the quarantine corner here for us. So definitely stay tuned for that. But on to the main topic. That's what we like to call in the market a big market tease, folks. So our main topic today, though, Nick, you want to take us away here?
Oh, yeah. We are talking cereal. We are doing our Change My Mind March Madness bracket, Wes. It's our first year in the DSG, and we know the other guys love to do their March Madness stuff. So we figured, thought only fitting. Let's do our first one. After this is our third year of doing the show?
I believe, yeah. Are we in three? You're three already? Damn.
Well,
to kick off such a momentous occasion, what better topic than the best part of the most important meal of the day? Yes, we'll have 36 cereals battle it out for spoon supremacy, folks. Which brand will be the masters of the Milkverse, and which will get their remains flushed down the toilet of despair?
I love the masters of the Milkverse. Is perfect. Oh, that honestly, that's what this should be called. March Madness, Master of the Milkverse.
Spoon supremacy? No,
it's a good one, Wes. But look, one's got to be better than the others. That's what this whole thing is about, right?
Yeah.
So we divided the 36 teams into 4 regions. We have classic, we have chocolate / peanut butter, fruity, and healthy. And we've ranked our top 9 selections from each region for you, the people, to decide which is the best.
Yes, so 1 through 9 here. So again, we're going to have a 32 bracket for you guys to help fill out at home. Maybe we can give away a couple of t-shirts for the winners there. I don't know if we can do that for the people, Nick. I don't know if we can scrounge up a few bucks like that, but I think that's something we can most definitely put together here. But so we're going to have a couple playing games here, one for each region. So we had Nick and I 1 through 9. Very simple. I believe this is the Rossi math, if I'm not mistaken here. So if I ranked it number 1, it gets 9 points. If I ranked it number 9, it gets 1 point. And you kind of fill out in between, right? 5 points is 5 points, and then everything else. I think you can, make the most of it there. So getting into the bracket as a whole, our top overall seed, very surprisingly, this is my favorite cereal. It's not. I'm surprised you agree with me on it, Nick. The Honey Bunches of Oats from the healthy cereal region. We both ranked it number 1 in the healthy cereal region, so it got the most votes possible. Are you surprised by that at all?
Yeah, well, when you look at it as the top seed overall, I don't look at it. I don't think that's the best cereal in the bunch. Maybe it's the best healthy cereal. Sure, obviously. I mean, we decided on that, but by them, it shows that Rossi's math system, shocker, is flawed.
Well, there's some flaws, but again, I think the important thing to keep in mind here is that just to get into the tournament, right? The numbers don't really matter so much. It's much like whose line is it anyway, right? The points don't matter. So I think that's important to keep in mind. But Honey Bunch of Oats is actually my favorite cereal, so that's important to note here. The remaining top overall seeds are as follows. Honey Nut Cheerios, which is in the classic region. We have Reese's Puffs in the chocolate peanut butter region. And we have, what did we decide on, Nick, here? Well, we'll get to that a little bit later there. The Fruit Loops, we have a 3-way tie for the fruity division.
Yeah,
and we will discuss that a little bit later. But Nick, you want to run through the classic region for us?
Yes. So as Wes mentioned, we have 36 teams involved in this. So that means we have 4 playing games, 1 for each region. So 9 teams start things out. In the classic region, we're going to have a playing game for the 7th seed between Golden Grams and Corn Pops, which had the same number of votes to finish at 7. For the 1-8 game, we have Honey Nut Cheerios taking on Cinnamon Toast Crunch. Then we have Captain Crunch at number 2, which will play the winner of the 7 seed playing game. Number 3, Frosted Flakes goes up against number 6, Wheaties. Number 4, regular Cheerios goes against number 5 Lucky Charms, and the first team out west was Honeycombs.
Yeah, that's tough here. Okay, so let's break it down here. Honey Nut Cheerios, I think, that was the right call over Cheerios there from the classic region, if you're at least rating the two. I think everybody loves that little bit of touch of sweetness there. Buzz B, I believe that's his name there. I gotta pull this up. I got a whole list of mascots there.
Oh, you got them all?
I got them all. Yeah, I got them. I got Sugar Bear from Super Golden Crisp, which didn't make the list. Buzz B is the name of the mascot of the Honey Nut Cheerios.
Okay.
And it clearly paved the way for Jerry Seinfeld's B movie. It's Jerry Seinfeld directly ripped that off.
That's very true. And look, the Cheerios are fine. If that was in the healthy region, because I believe we were considering having it there as well, I believe I would have had that as my number 1, if not my number 2 initially. But the drop off from Honey Nut Cheerios to regular Cheerios is gigantic. I mean, I 1 to 4. I mean, I think I had Cheerios personally a little bit lower myself. So I had Honey Nut as my number 2, and then regular Cheerios actually has my number 7. So pretty similar drop, maybe a little bit more substantial. But my number 1 was dropped all the way down to fucking 5. I don't know how this happened. Lucky Charms is the 5th seed, and I have my number 1.
I will tell you, I will recognize it, and the only reason why I did some certain reworking on there, because I thought it deserved to be in the classic region because of its property. You have LC Leprechaun out there. They're magically delicious. It's the great commercials as a kid, Saturday morning cartoons. Those mean more to me than the actual cereal itself, because the cereal is garbage. The marshmallow is garbage. Do you ever have that issue where you can't touch styrofoam? Like, do you know that? Does that you ever heard of that? Like, if you hear styrofoam being crunched.
Yes, I hate that. I hate that.
That's what I get when I chew the marshmallows on Lucky Charms.
Really, I never got that.
It's essentially alphabets with shitty marshmallows, and I don't like alphabets, and I don't like shitty marshmallows. They get soggy way too quickly. So I did this as a courtesy to you. 2021, being nicer to Nick Fryer. That's my resolution. So that was part of it there. The big travesty, and what I think we have for a real upset potential, even though I had this number 1 at Honey Nut Cheerios, is the 8 seed Cinnamon Toast Crunch. You did not have this ranked. I think, again, this is very, a very popular, very classic cereal. Eat it any time of the day, breakfast, lunch, or dinner.
Yeah, it is, Wes, but here's the problem. I can't rank something that I never ate as a kid. I had zero desire. I'm not a cinnamon guy in general. So
you like cinnamon? What is that? That's like such a major flavor that's in everything.
I mean, don't get me wrong, I'm just not a
not like fall. I don't like allspice.
Cinnamon is fine. Like that's it.
You like anus though, don't you? Yeah. Well, you do.
I mean, I can't. I don't know what I'm going to say to that. I can't lie to the people.
Well, flummoxed.
I can't lie to the people. Anyways, but I'm not going to go and turn myself into Stephen A. and say things that are wildly inappropriate. But anyways, yeah. So I can't put it in here, Wes. Just like French Toast Crunch. I mean, I'm assuming that came from the same family, but that one didn't get a vote from either one of us. Just to look at a couple other ones too before we continue going through. Waffle Crisps you had on here, which I've never had. Rice Krispies, you didn't vote for. I put them at 9 out of respect for Rice Krispie treats, because those are friggin' outstanding. Whether that, a lot of people make homemade ones, those are awesome. The ones you could buy at stores are great too. The cereal, so fucking disappointing. My God, every time.
And that's my problem. We'll get into a lot of that with the Krispies. There's a lot of crispy categories in here, and it gets way too soggy too quickly for me. And I agree with you there. I think it's a classic, right? I mean, Snap, Crackle, and Pop, right? They're all there.
Hey, respect. Your Rice Krispie treats deserve all the respect in the world. They're a great treat even still as adults, but the cereal is such a letdown. Golden Crisps got left off. Honey Smacks, Peanut Butter Crunch, which probably should have been in the other category, but whatever. That's neither here or there. And then Alphabet's cereal, I think that's everything. Frosted Mini Wheats as well.
Okay, so before we move on to the chocolate peanut butter region, Nick, give me your favorite to come out of the region and your dark horse.
Okay.
And your first round upset. How about that? Those 3.
Okay. Well, I think the dark horse is going to be the same as the first round upset in this case. I think you made a really good call that the Cinnamon Toast Crunch versus Honey Nut Cheerios. It's not often that we see a 1 seed get upset in the tournament, but I think that this one has real potential to do so. My favorite to come out here. So 2 would face 3. I think Captain Crunch is going to be the winner from this division.
Yeah, that Captain Crunch Frosted Flakes second round matchup seems like a real doozy. That seems like whoever wins that will probably go on and win. The bracket overall. I'm going with the CT Crunch upset there, but I think a dark horse to win it. Golden Grams. Love Golden Grams. I think it's a great consistency. It holds up well in the milk. It's got a nice sweetness to it that also sweetens up the milk. It makes the milk delicious after the end. It's not something that you can say for Honey Nut Cheerios. It's got that level of sweetness to it. So I think that works. Honeycombs, I loved. I love the layout and the design of it. Again, I think it captures the milk very well. And it's puffy enough that if it gets soggy, you can still kind of crush it with like your tongue in the roof of your mouth. So I was disappointed to see that out there.
That is the only one in this region. I don't know if we can say that for the rest of the tournament. We'll see as we go along. But that is the only one in the classic region that got votes from both of us but didn't make the cut. So that is a tough one to see. And also, just to put a pin in it, Lucky Charms and Cheerios. Lucky Charms is the underdog technically in that matchup. I don't want to call that like a huge upset, but that also I don't see Cheerios beating Lucky Charms.
No, I don't either. I have a feeling a lot of as a friend of the show here who might be appearing a little bit later on as a little big market tease. Jacob Morocco says healthy gets the auto L here. I think that's going to be the consensus thought here moving forward. Is any healthy kind of generally healthy cereal is going to lose there. But the chocolate peanut butter region for our playing game, this one's kind of tough because surprisingly not a lot of options as you might think. Number 8 Kellogg's Crave. Against number 8, S'mores. So these are two like obscure additions. I think you added and I added in there.
We couldn't find an 8th and a 9th team. We needed at least 8.
I have had the Kellogg's Crave though, so what I will say is that it's like a Chex. It's like one of those Muddy Buddies almost with a little bit of chocolate in there. So it's got a good crunch, a good consistency to it. Chocolate and milk goes together great. Okay, but the winner of that game will play the top overall seed in Reese's Puffs. I don't think I even have to explain that. We have the 2 seed Cocoa Puffs against the number 7 Cocoa Krispies. Yeah, we have the 3 seed Oreo O's against the Count himself, number 6 Count Chocula. Any sign there, 6 seed, Dracula, Mark of the Beast. I'm just saying. Number 4 seed Crisp is playing host to number 5 Cocoa Pebbles, and unfortunately, the Nesquik cereal was the first team out according to our RPI rankings from Joe Lunardi.
Well, they stink. So that's like it was again a team that I needed to find to fill the gap last minute. Now I had Cocoa Pebbles as my number 1. You had Oreos as your number 1, and actually you had Cocoa Pebbles all the way down to friggin' 9, Wes. What the hell is your problem?
Again, this goes into my issue with things like Rice Krispies, Cocoa Krispies, Fruity Pebbles, Cocoa Pebbles. It all just melts right into the milk if you don't eat it fast enough. You got to really just shovel it in there. Maybe I want to watch Bobby's World, let my milk kind of soak into my cereal a little bit there, and maybe by the second commercial break, then I want to dive into it.
How dare you put the Krispies and Cocoa Pebbles in the same fucking they don't have the same issue. I understand that if you leave them in there too long, they can get soggy, but it is not the same thing, Wes. Like we're talking with Krispies, you put them in and they're ruined. It's done. Cocoa Pebbles, you have time with them. Oh my God, I used to devour those things. I like them without milk as well too, but God.
It's a substance thing. Do they make delicious desserts and treats? Absolutely. Rice Krispie treats. Now that's something that might have been a snub that we overlooked there.
I just went on a whole thing about it, so we're fine. We covered it.
Okay. All right. Good. All right. Fair enough. I must have been tuning out that point. So,
yeah. You're getting ready to go for the chocolate region.
The host I'm listening.
Well, like honestly, Wes, this region the classics have serious name recognition, but I think when we look at the chocolate region, I would bet the winner, the champion, is going to come out of this region.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised. My money's on the fruity region, but if I had to pick a favorite, a dark horse, and my favorite first round upset, again, Oreo. No. I'm gonna go way off the board here for my favorite, Cookie Crisp. No. Wait. No. Dark horse is Cookie Crisp. Okay, 4 seed, right? That's a little bit of a dark horse, right?
Okay.
Oreo O's is my favorite at the 3 seed, and I think I guess that leaves Cocoa Krispies over Cocoa Puffs as my upset.
Okay, I have my.
I get you.
All right, Reese's. I don't know if that was like a bit or what, but Reese's Puffs is going to win this thing hands down. Everybody loves Reese's. No questions asked. They're going to go with that. I thought for a second I was going to have Cocoa Puffs as the one prone to being upset, but I don't know if there's going to be an upset in this region. Honestly, I want to say Cocoa Pebbles will knock off Cookie Crisp. I hope it does, but I don't have that kind of faith in the voters. I think there are some people who legitimately like Cookie Crisps, and I was always like, hey, they're fine, but they're kind of disappointing.
I think they're too crunchy. I'm not sure if they get soggy enough. Like, I've been complaining about all these cereals that get too soggy. This one doesn't get soggy enough. Again, you need that Mama Bear's porridge, that perfect Goldilocks zone where it just finds that right amount.
So this particular matchup, how you vote for number 4 Cookie Crisp versus number 5 Cocoa Pebbles is going to say a lot about you, the listener, as a person.
Yeah, I'll be able to judge. It's a good litmus test here. And I think the real issue that comes up with my struggles with the chocolate peanut butter region goes back to my parents' divorce. And if we could just go back to that for a moment.
Yeah, sure.
Healthy family. We didn't really have a lot of sugar in the house as a kid when my parents were together. And that was my mom's doing, because after my parents got divorced, suddenly my father, every time I'd go see him, he's like, yeah, get whatever the hell you want. It's Cinnamon Toast Crunch, it's Waffle Crisp, it's Oreo O's, it's Cookie Crisp, you name it. It's like, just all that sugar and type 2 diabetes was just to like make up for the lack of having a father in the home.
Oh, dude. I thought you were gonna go for a laugh for a second.
That's funny.
God, it's just so dark this entire episode, Wes. Unbelievable. Oh man, I just ate bad food all the time because my dad was, as a kid, ate like not tasty, healthy stuff as a kid. So he said my kids are not going to eat like that growing up, and so we didn't. So we had a lot of
putting his foot down.
A lot of sugar. I mean, my mom didn't care. So we ate Portuguese food and pasta, and then a lot of sugar all the time. So, and I turned out fine. That's that. You want to know how the secret to being able to play athletics at the next level?
D1 diet, folks.
That's what it is right there. 1,000%.
I'm up.
Anyways, all right, moving on to the fruity region, Wes. The playing game is going to be at the 8th seed this time around. We have a Frankenberry versus Boo Berry. Then we have they're going to face the winner of that will face number 1 Fruit Loops. Number 2 Crunch Berries will play host to the number 7 seed Special K Berries. Number 3 Apple Jacks will go up against number 6 Fruity Pebbles, and then number 4 Tricks will go against number 5 Raisin Bran. And that's the 9 teams that we had for this West. So there's no team that got left off the board here that we know of, at least.
Yeah, again, fruit, not a whole lot to work with fruity here. And I think so. This is the big discussion. So we talked about this, right? So what do we want to do for the fruity here? Do we want to do Fruit Loops, Crunch Berries, Apple Jacks as 1, 2, 3? Because they all tied for first.
Okay, so for the sake of transparency, right, we have Crunch Berries was Wes's number 1, my number 5. Fruit Loops was my number 2, Wes's number 4, and then Apple Jacks was my number 1 and Wes's number 5. So I think Fruit Loops, it only makes sense to have it as a number 3 because its highest ranking was lower than the highest ranking of the other 2. So Fruit Loops will slide into number 3, and we're going to have to adjust that. So I'll read through those again in a moment, just for everybody's understanding. Okay. Then when it comes to 1, 2 West, I think we have to go with our normal tiebreaker. Mac and Goo, they flip a coin. This doesn't.
Mac and Do.
I guess that's usually how I think about those guys. Anyways,
they said when they decided they wanted to do a podcast, I Mac and Do.
Oh my god, they probably no. That would be that's the inverse, and Goo would not be okay with that. Anyways, so I'm gonna hold up a number 1 or 2. The audience will be able to see, so they can keep me honest, and then you see if you can guess it. Sound good?
Okay.
All right. Go ahead and cover your eyes or whatever. Or I'll get okay. Ready? Go ahead. 1 or 2. No, you're not supposed to cover your eyes. Your eyes covered, so I'm holding up a number.
2.
Yes, you got it right. So yours will be the top ranked team
Crunch berries, baby.
Yes. So then just to go back through the matchups again, Crunch Berries is going to play the winner of Boo Berry and Frankenberry. The Apple Jacks, number 2, will face number 7, Special K Berries. Number 3, Fruit Loops will play number 6, Fruity Pebbles. And then just for sake of posterity, number 4, Trix will take on number 5, Raisin Bran.
Yeah, so I think this is, again, very tough bracket here. I have a couple catchphrases that I researched, and the Frankenberry. How about a monster for breakfast today?
That's what they said?
Yeah, have a monster for breakfast today. And Boo Berry is, I think this is a mistake on the website that I found. It just says Boo Berry is a part of complete breakfast. Which is, I think, something they just say at the end of every,
Yep, that was an
error.
I forget, was that Kellogg's? That was a certain company. They would say that after every commercial for certain cereals.
Yeah, it could be. It doesn't say here, but I know Apple Jacks. A is for Apple, J is for Jacks.
Apple Jacks are freaking awesome, and I don't remember them having you know what? If I go back and have something out of all this, I think I might want to try Apple Jacks. I mean, Honey Nut Cheerios was probably the thing I had most recently, but I haven't had Apple Jacks in so long. And I love those things. And look, they have apple in the name, but they're under fruity by default, but they could go under the classic region too. There's
apple.
Yeah, no, I know, but it doesn't taste fruity, Wes. Come on.
Yeah, well, also number 5 Raisin Bran could be a classic as well, or healthy. But it's got 2 scoops of fruit in it, Nick, not just 1. It's got 2.
Well, that's my. But I'm surprised that you had Apple Jacks so low. I'm a little disappointed in you, to be honest. I can understand some of the other disagreements, but not that one.
So I'm a big Raisin Bran fan, particularly Raisin Bran Crunch. We also get our first appearance from the Special K brand in there, which again, you talk about that perfect consistency, that Goldilocks stage. Special K has that. It's great when it gets soggy in milk, but it has that nice, light, airy crispiness to it, which is great. So I think I get to Apple Jacks. I see Special K berries. You get those nice dehydrated little raspberries in there, a little touch to it. I think that can upset Apple Jacks there. So that's kind of my upset. My favorite is Crunch Berries, number 1. I think that I would not be surprised in the slightest bit if we see a Captain Crunch Berries against a Captain Crunch in the finals. I think that is very plausible. And I think my dark horse to win is Raisin Bran. I think Raisin Bran is delicious, especially when you add the granola clusters of the crunch in there. That is my absolute favorite, because then you still get that sweetness from the milk at the leftover.
People won't vote for Raisin Bran just for the sake of they don't want to be labeled as an old person. Because I mean, I'm not voting for Raisin Bran anyways. I'm voting for Trix for that for sure. But Wes, I hate to say it.
For kids. How old are you, Nick?
Wes, I talk about comic books and Marvel and all that stuff.
No, but that's not what I'm saying, though. Tricks are for kids, Nick. You are a 30-something-year-old adult.
I'm not 30 yet. Don't do that to me.
To attract.
Bastard. I am not 30 yet. Oh, wow. Jesus. Yeah, just keep up the theme of it. Jesus, Wes. Anyways, I think that Apple Jacks is very much prone for an upset here. I don't like that, but it really is. Because Special K is a powerhouse at number 7. Fruit Loops kind of is too, but I think we're going to see everybody loves Fruit Loops. I just, my gut's telling me that. And I think that's going to come out as the winner here. And I don't think that constitutes as a dark horse as a number 3 seed, but yeah,
first.
Yeah, this is true. Yeah. Cause they're really, okay. Fair point. So 3 is my, Fruit Loops are my winner. Special K is going to pull off the upset, and I guess Fruity Pebbles can be the dark horse too. I think the 3-6 matchup will produce the winner of this.
I think I like this matchup because it's a Fruit Loops, Fruity Pebbles. Now we're talking about the Mandela effect earlier too. Fruit Loops. Do you remember it being FROOT or FRUIT?
I do remember. I can envision that because I remember they had the loops actually in the OO.
Yes, yeah.
I probably would have
Fruit Loops now.
I probably would have spelt it Fruit Loops like actual fruit if I thought about it. But I totally can remember the OO. Unlike Berenstein Bears, which I don't remember how to spell though.
Yeah,
Berenstein. I don't know. But anyways,
no, it doesn't even say. I'm looking for it. It was never Fruit Loops, like the right spelling of it too. So that makes sense because they're circular. Yeah,
exactly. Yeah, Fruit Loops are another one that were. You're right. The fruity region does have some really good ones. I mean, Which did you consider that? Which one do you think is the? I said the chocolate one's the best region, but I'm starting to rethink that. I know you did say the fruity one is.
Yeah, I think so. And again, the powerhouse, the top, it's top heavy. You know, and I think that's what it comes down to.
I mean, the fruity region's pretty friggin' deep. I mean, I know that was one we only were able to get 9 teams, but you go all the way 1 through 7. I think you're dealing with a lot of really good ones, as opposed to like the. I don't love our number 4 for the peanut butter region, Cookie Crisp. Some people I feel like will like it, but
I think Cookie Crisp to me was always that, like, because it's like you can't have cookies for breakfast, but you can't have Cookie Crisp. Like that's the slogan, right? So like that was the idea, and that was the marketing, that was the campaign. Like it was so taboo to have cookies for breakfast. Like you wanted it, you'd see it, and like there was no way my mom was letting me have cookies for breakfast. Right. Although my dad did marry a baker. So, like, ipso facto, I was kind of able to have cookies for breakfast. So,
look at that.
Good work. Again, Dad, replacing the father in the household with insulin shots. That's where we're at there. But again, I think that was the idea, like the appeal and the allure of Cookie Crisps.
The thing with Cookie Crisps that always annoyed me was it's just I love cookies. So I'm expecting it to taste more like a cookie, and it never did. But I think that was just me being a child and not having realistic expectations. So,
but I have like an advanced palate. Maybe you're just your understanding of cookie texture and taste was just far superior for your age.
I mean, I can totally go with that too.
Your cookie tasting skills were in the 95th percentile for 8-year-olds.
I don't know how to respond to Wes being nice to me. I mean, you've never been like as mean to me as people like Keith have, but this is still it's weird.
Hey, we're turning new leaves here.
Yeah, I guess so.
Turning and burning new leaves. Am I right, guys? Am I right? To the healthy region, the playing game. Tip your bartenders, folks. Thank you. The playing game. We have the 8 seed. These are 2 of my personal favorites. Again, health food. Healthy cereal was very big in the Sykes household. Number 8, Cracklin' Oat Bran against number 8, Puffin. Whether that's the peanut butter puffin or your classic puffin, I think that's both applicable here.
Oh, I thought this had to do with what you were talking about before with the
puffin on the magically delicious dragons.
Yeah, exactly. I thought that's what this was.
I see what you're doing there. Number 1, Honey Bunches of Oats, which you already mentioned, is the top overall seed, and they will be playing the winner of that playing game. The 2 seed will be Special K, just Special K, against the 7 seed Fiber One. We have number 3 as Chex against number 6 Life. Now that's an interesting matchup right there. And number 4 Kicks, which are kids tested, mom approved, in Total. Total here, that's the real surprise to me. I know it's healthy, but it's really crap. Right, the first team out is Cornflakes. And I love Cornflakes. I'm a big Cornflakes fan. But Nick, what jumps out to you here? What's a dark horse? What's an upset? What's your favorite?
All right, so I think Honey Bunches of Oats is easily going to knock off the first team. The first team they face out of the playing game. I don't know that there's going to be an upset. I think it's going to be chalk in the first round of the region. I think that those 3 names have the best brand recognition, and people are just going to like them more. If there's going to be one, see, like Fiber One has the power to knock off Chex or Kicks, maybe.
Oh no, you can't be serious.
But not Special K. It can't knock off Special K. Fiber One, no shot.
Okay.
Yeah. So no. I think that I'm going to go with it's chalk, and I think Special K walks out of this region as the winner.
Oh wow, okay. So a nice 1-2 upset. So I like Cracklin' Oat Bran to get into the first, win the playing game there. So I think I love Cracklin' Oat Bran. Then I'm really torn at my head and my heart here between Honey Bunches of Oats and Cracklin' Oat Bran, 2 of my favorites. Puffin is also great, holds up well. The consistency is very great. Cracklin' Oat Bran also very good as well. That kind of disintegrates and kind of sinks to the bottom of the milk there, so you get this kind of like amorphous, like kind of thicker milk. Like it's like Oreo milk almost. So that's really good. But anyway, I think the dark horse to win it and the first round upset come from the same matchup, and that is Life Cereal. Life Cereal. Hey, Mikey, he likes it. It's fantastic. It's classic. It's healthy. It's cinnamon. Whether you want it in there, it's light. Again, one of those cereals that gets better when they get soggy. It kind of all forms into like a nice thick soupy kind of milk, which I'm here for. And that's what I'm like. Kix is a tough one. I think Kix has a lot of potential. That has a nice crunch and pop to it, but not crunchy enough where it's going to cut up your mouth like Captain Crunch would. So again, that kind of Goldilocks phase that we're talking about, but really disappointed with Cornflakes. Cornflakes remind me of my grandparents. I used to go up to upstate New York. They would always have them there. That classic box, right? That white box with the rooster on it seems kind of iconic. Total has really like fallen off the game, right? I mean, do we see Total like advertised anywhere really much anymore?
No, I don't see it at all. I can remember when I was looking up the healthy region, trying to, I felt like I was trying to add a couple last minute ones because I know you had them all at first. I thought when I looked up Total, was like, it's not as healthy as you thought it was, and I think that's what like some of these are kind of dealing with.
Most cereal isn't like healthy. When I say healthy, I just mean like not sugary, I guess.
Yes, not as bad as the
right.
Exactly, the pure sugar that you're putting in the other stuff. But I have a question for you, which is we're kind of wrapping all this up. What would be the 4? And it doesn't need to be by region or whatever. I know you went and had Captain Crunch, so I'm sure that counts as one of your 4. After doing all this, what were the 4 cereals that you were like, I would love to try this again, and I haven't had it in friggin' ages?
Yeah, so Honey Bunches. I mean, I could go down a list. I'm a big cereal fan, and the fact of the matter is, I just we don't have milk as much anymore in our household. The wife does a lot of the shopping, so she likes almond milk. I don't drink a lot of milk other than in my a little drop here in my coffee. Almond milk isn't the same in cereal. It doesn't work. It's too watery. I need at least 2% milk in there to kind of, I need that thicker consistency to it. And the fact is, I don't have cereal enough to where I can justify buying the milk where it won't go bad. And then so there's a whole kind of chicken or the egg type of situation there.
Gotcha.
So I with all of that said, Honey Bunches of Oats, Cracklin' Oat Bran, Life, I don't really even crave like chocolate peanut butter like stuff, even though I love that. Like in Life and cereal, I don't really crave it like that. Crunch berries, I love Special K berries, Raisin Bran Crunch, Frosted Flakes, really love Frosted Flakes.
Oh, those are so
Golden
good.
Grams, I want to go back and get some. So it really is just bringing me all back there.
Yeah, Frosted Flakes. I put it at 3, but I was like, God, I really liked these a lot as a kid. But like my 1, 2, 3, Lucky Charms, Honey Nut Cheerios, and Frosted Flakes in the classic region. I loved all those corn pops. I haven't had those in so long, and I didn't talk about them much when we were going through the classic region. I would love to have some of those. But I would say like the ones that I would want to try mostly are out of that region, out of the classic region. But then I would love to go back and mess around with Fruit Loops again and Apple Jacks another time. And I don't know, like if you told me one chocolate region team, it would either be Reese's Puffs or Cocoa Pebbles that I'd have to go with. Give a shot. My 1, 2. So, but yeah, there's just I got to do it too. There's so many good ones, Wes. I haven't had cereal in so long.
It's a great dessert too. It's nice. It's a good dessert to have too. I love it. Okay, so we will be tweeting out the preliminary rounds from our change my mind. So what's the Twitter account?
At Change My Mind Pod on Twitter. We will be tweeting that out. If you're watching us on the stream, you can see it now on our screen. We'll be tweeting the preliminary round matchups out. And we'll go through Thursday, maybe Friday with those. And then we will have the bracket available for you probably Friday afternoon at some point. We'll tweet that out. We got to figure out exactly how we're going to do it. I know Mac and Goo has the luxury of iHeartRadio producing that stuff for them. I don't think they're going to do the same for us, even though we're technically part of the family. So we'll figure something out for you guys.
I'll tweet out the bracket that we have of the 32 team bracket, and then you guys can take a screenshot of that. You can use a PDF or anything like that, or you can hit us in the DMs if you would like it sent to you in email form, and you like to fill it out and send it back to us. That is certainly on the table as well. So plenty of ways to do it. We will outline that on our Twitter account as well. In case that was a little too convoluted for you folks at home.
And we will, so you want to give people a shirt? You want to give first place a shirt?
Yeah, a shirt of your choosing. How's that?
Yeah, from the TeePublic Change My Mind
stores? Yeah, I don't want to buy another shirt for another podcast.
I just want to make sure we make it clear for everybody else that we're not going to go and buy
hey, here's this Joe Rogan shirt.
Yeah, well, that would also be a reach. But yeah. So, anyways, that brings us over to the quarantine corner, Wes. And what else is going on with you?
Yeah, so as I teased a little bit earlier in this podcast, two creepy crime thrillers here. So if you're looking for something, to kind of keep the mind stimulated, maybe a little date night movie. You want to kind of get those murder porn vibes going up in your house. Two good movies here. Nocturnal Animals. It's a Tom Ford, yes, the fashion designer, directed movie on Netflix. It's starring star-studded cast with Amy Adams, Jake Gyllenhaal, Isla Fisher, Aaron Taylor Johnson. That name keeps popping up. Michael Shannon as well. Big fan. But movie takes a lot of twists and turns. I still got to read it. I watched it last night, and the ending left me very confused. But I really enjoyed it. It kept me interested throughout. I will warn people, this isn't a spoiler. There's a very intense rape scene involving Aaron Taylor Johnson, who plays the villain in this, who's fantastic in it. It doesn't show anything. It's just very unnerving. So I'd make people aware of that. But very, like, as you could expect from like a fashion designer like Tom Ford, this is his second movie. It's very aesthetically pleasing. All the shots and everything looks good. Just very, very eye pleasing. The other one is All Good Things, which is on HBO Max. Starring Ryan Gosling and Kirsten Dunst. And this is based on the Robert Durst story. So this is Robert Durst is part of the New York City media, real estate family, real estate mogul, who got away with like 3 murders.
Okay.
Yeah, very, very crazy. Like over the course of his life in like 3 different states, and like hid out as a woman in Texas for a number of years. And like, it's crazy.
Okay. So if I'm picking one of these two to watch, because they both see, which one would you recommend over the other? What's your number one?
All Good Things.
Okay. All right. The Aaron Taylor Johnson scene sounds like a little bit much for me.
Yeah. I mean, it's early on in the movie. The wife and I were watching it where she's like, what is this? There was a point I was like, I don't know. Like, there was no explanation of that coming into it,
Yeah, that's there's a lot of things that we can see. We're all comfortable with seeing on screen, but that's something that I just can't imagine.
Yeah, it's like just very violent and stuff. Like they don't show that, like, or any sort of like sex or penetration or any nudity or anything.
That's good.
But it's just like violent. It's just a violent scene that takes place.
Okay. Well, speaking of violence, I finally started reading Philadelphia, which is a book that Doc had recommended on TLDR, and it's drawn by Jason Sean Alexander. The writer for that is Rodney Barnes, who's done a lot of stuff in Hollywood. And I think Philadelphia is supposed to be turned into a show at some point down the line, but that shit was friggin' violent as hell. And Doc had recommended it, and I really like it. We talked about it. I forget which episode of TLDR it was, but I recommend that to anybody. If you like vampire stuff, I think Lauren's actually going to read it too. She was skimming through it. But I as for watching stuff, I watched Soul finally, and I get the hype. I understand why everybody liked that movie, and I thought it was well done. It's kids movies, you always think it's going to be goofy, happy-go-lucky, whatever. And I don't think this was like sad and morbid. It sounded like it was like that. I got that impression it was going into it. But I thought they had
not really a kids movie, right?
I mean, 22 makes it
ideas.
It has some heavy ideas, but 22 makes it feel like a kids movie the entire time. I never felt like I was watching like an adult animated movie, I guess. But it also the what was it, Jeff or who were the Jerry? Jerry also made it feel like
all the Jerrys.
That animation was so weird. I don't know why, but I got like weird ass Rocky and Bullwinkle vibes from Terry. I don't know what it was, but anyways, I watched that finally. I'm going back through The Walking Dead to kind of get to be able to finish that show because I believe it's coming to an end now. Or I think it's in the final season.
Haven't they been saying that forever?
No, like it's for real. Like it's either coming up or they're in the middle of it or whatever. But I'm trying to go back through it because I do want to finish it. I had fallen off in the second to last season, but I need to go back a little more to make sure I remember everything. And then I also watched the number 23, which stars Jim Carrey, which has been out, I think it came out in 2006.
This caught my attention. Was this a Lauren pick?
This is, yeah, because like she watched it at one point, like 23, like the number pops up all the time for her, and I can vouch for that.
Is she in? Does she believe in numerology?
I don't know if she does in general, but 23 or 32 constantly pops up for her, and it's not like she's making it up. I've seen it constantly, It's after seeing the movie, it's weird.
I enjoy her influence on you, Nick. I'm just going to come out right and say it.
Thank you. I appreciate that. I'm
also a big fan of numerology, and I think this movie actually does some things to maybe warp the perception of numerology and the ideas behind it. But there are ideas that numbers have power or have a certain amount of energy behind them. And they represent certain things. So, for example, if you Google Rolex on Google Images, you will see on the date, the date hand that always changes there on the days of the month. Oftentimes, you'll see that as 28 because it represents the power of money, not just money, but wealth.
I feel like you told me that one before, and then isn't it like Barstool does something like that?
Yeah,
with all their
a lot of t-shirts will add up to 8 or 28. Their shirts will be priced at $28 or $26, and 6 and 2 is 8. So that's kind of like the idea behind it, and that money will attract, like 8s attract 8s, like money attracts more money, so that for whatever reason it may be cheaper, but more people will be for whatever reason triggered to buy it.
Huh. That's interesting. It's weird how so you've seen this movie?
No, but I know. Yeah, I'm aware of it.
Okay, yeah, because this was like I remember when Jim Carrey was like trying to get into serious acting, and I enjoyed the movie. I think that there are definitely moments. So I'm watching Jim Carrey try and be dramatic, and I'm like, I'm watching Ace Ventura right now. I'm like, exactly. But and there were moments where I'm like, what? How the hell is it working? Like they tie it, they make you ask questions the entire time. Like this doesn't make any fucking sense. And then by the end of it, it's like, oh, okay, now. So I thought they wrapped it up nicely. I think that I think Jim Carrey, like it being him, could turn off most people on that movie just because you see him as a comedic actor. But if that was some serious actor or a no-name actor, then people would probably appreciate it a little bit more. I thought it was, but I still enjoy Jim Carrey. So yeah, it's a solid flick, and I think it's on. What did we watch on Prime?
I should watch that. Yeah, I should watch that.
Yeah, I'm curious how you end up feeling about that one. But yeah. So those are some of the things I've Soul in summer 23 finally crossed off my list.
I like it.
All right, Wes, that brings us to
This Week in Dork Shared Universe.
All right, so I know that hashtag Dork is doing March Madness, but they're apparently trying to have the listeners, you the people, figure out what they're doing for their brackets. So good luck with that, everybody.
Yeah, you know what? It's too bad because the Ringer did this, and I thought this would have been a great idea for him. The Ringer did the top video game characters. I thought that would be perfect for Dork. Yeah, obviously you can't do it, but
next year
that would have been perfect for him, right?
Yeah, they can do it next year. It works fine then. Mac and Goo, they did their 2021 movie draft featuring hashtag Dork, and then I believe Fuxy is the pairing that they have for their other drafters. Not
is that Fitzy and Uncle Buck there?
Is that who it is? Yeah, I think that's who it is. Yeah. They're called Fuxy, and I figured, yeah, it works because it's not PCP, it's not TLDR, it's not. I've heard it both ways. It's not Change My Mind, it's not Shine Time, so I don't give a shit who else it is.
That's right. It's just 2 hours of Fitzy working on his comedy material.
Yeah, so just for that, I'm not going to make fun of PCP this week. I don't know what they're talking about, but it's not communism this week. I think they're talking about the positives of capitalism. We'll go with that. Whatever. Fuck it. I don't know what PCP is talking about this week. TLDR, we had Dave Dwanch and Brock McKinney on last week. Their book from Dark Horse is coming out next month, Jenny Zero. I forgot to plug that earlier. So you guys can listen to that as well. Like I said, we have another Fireside Chat this week, and Doc and I will be doing our first event episode. You guys saw the tie-ins that we've been doing. We're going to be doing the End DC Future State event episode where we're talking spoilers, ranking the books that we like, kind of, like that. No new book, no new review this week. We'll still be talking about the new issues release, but it's all about that one big event that finally came to an end.
You guys are doing big things over at TLDR, and I'm disappointed that I won't be able to upload your episodes anymore.
Yeah, you're no longer the producer.
Bad job at it.
No longer the producer of TLDR. I've heard it both ways. Is on episode 14 of Psych. The streamers, Doc, Shime Time, Davey, go follow them. And then I've got WandaVision. They just did episode 8, West, right? And you're doing episode 9 on Friday.
Yes, episode 9, and then the episode after that, we'll be doing a wrap up, maybe a little power rankings of the characters, maybe some things, questions left unanswered, and then maybe a look ahead to the Falcon and the Winter Soldier, as that'll be a nice kind of breather week in between there. But for us next week, I think we'll also be discussing WandaVision in some way, shape, or form. So very excited to get that out there. Of course, on Friday we'll have episode 9 dropping for the season and get all of those answers and cameos and all those good things that we've been waiting for, Easter eggs and whatnot. So till then, Nick,
you say it. Yeah, same bat time, same bat